What is up, everybody? Let me clean my camera off here. All right. How's everybody doing? Need a haircut? So don't comment it. I know, but I just haven't had time. Tonight, we are drinking Anchor Brewing Company Steam Beer. I had not had this beer before coming out to California. It's a San Francisco-based brewery. It is one of my favorite beers. I get it all the time. Just a classic. I don't even know. It's like a lager, pilsner, something like that. That kind of vibe. Not too light, not too heavy. Very drinkable. Big fan. What's everybody drinking? We got Maui Brewing Bikini Blonde Lager. Maui Brewing's great. I was in Maui, I'm trying to think, 2019, right before I moved out here. Maui Brewing's great. Voodoo Ranger, gotta love that. Stone IPA. Blackberry Liqueur. Fort Point Villager. We got a Bud. Narragansett. Man, I haven't had Narragansett forever. Good beer. Ninkasi Tricera Hops IPA. Nice name. Coors Light, water and coffee, working the night shift. 3:30 here in Hamburg, Germany. We are global. We know that. We know that here in Hops with Pop. Little chocolate milk, smooth like chocolate milk. Is that a Staley reference? Soju. Love soju. Always get soju when I go to Korean barbecue. Got a Kraken and Coke. A little rum and Coke there. Root beer. A little Hennessy on the rocks. Can't go wrong with that. Grapefruit Session IPA from Modern Times. I don't think I've had that, but Modern Times is a great brewery. Kona Big Wave. I think we've done that in the stream. Bullet Bourbon. I have some Buffalo Trace in the cupboard that I will be drinking once I'm done writing tonight. Brisk and tequila. Interesting combo. I never had that before. Angel's Envy bourbon. Love me some Angel's Envy. A NyQuil and ibuprofen cocktail. I don't know if DZ is going to make it through the stream having that kind of cocktail. Mr. Worldwide. Yes, sir. Kern's Strawberry and Banana Nectar. Twisted Tea. Love that. Water on the Rocks. I love me some ice water. Cigar City. Fancy Papers IPA. We got a Sam Adams Boston Lager. Spellbinder from Shop Brewing in Arizona. Hemingway didn't wait till after Ready to Drink. No, he did not. And neither are we because we were having a beer. But we know the rule here. No bourbon on the stream. Popper Gear, would you guys buy merch? I don't know. I'm gonna reconfigure Hops with Pop during the off season and see if we can spruce it up a little bit. If you guys want merch, I'll think about it. We have to improve the production value here before we start selling merch, which I'm gonna look into. So, by the way, if you do whatever production stuff for YouTube or whatever, my fiance just heard that through the door and texted me, Popper Gear? Question mark. If anyone does like production stuff and wants to be involved in Hops with Pop, like shoot me a DM because I'm going to be looking into that. House music update. I actually signed a new one with a label in the UK a couple weeks ago. I got to send them over the stuff. So that should be out in 2023. And I also just got a new offer from a Brazilian label for my third track. So I should have 2 new tracks coming out in 2023. Not that anyone really cares besides Grant. But shout out Grant. Appreciate you asking. All right. We got people in here. Let's get this thing going. The Los Angeles Chargers, as the 5th seed, head to Jacksonville and take on the Jaguars Saturday night, 8:15 local time, Eastern time in Jacksonville. It'll be 5:15 here. Obviously, a lot to get into with this matchup. I think I'm probably just going to open it up to questions because I'm sure you guys have a ton of questions. A lot has gone on the last week, obviously, but just early read on this. And I'll have a huge preview coming tomorrow on The Athletic. If you are not subscribed to The Athletic, click the link below. That's a feature I wrote about Justin Herbert for today. You can subscribe through there. Tomorrow morning, I will have a thorough breakdown, like I always do, getting into the X's and O's, interviews from the locker room about the matchup, all the stats, everything you need to know about the game will be in a big comprehensive preview tomorrow. I know I was getting some comments about lack of content this week. I was really working on that Herbert feature. I had a big investigative piece with Jordan Rodrigue on artificial services that came out. So I was doing some bigger picture stuff and sort of was planning on putting all my preview stuff in one place. You can just read it all, get offense matchups, defense matchups, special teams, all in one place to get you ready. And then Saturday morning, I will have another feature coming out, kind of a cool feature from the locker room this week, something special that's happening for the game on Saturday night. So look out for that on Saturday morning. But click the link below, subscribe. That preview will be up tomorrow. But just some initial takeaways. I'll get more in depth in my writing tomorrow morning. Trevor Lawrence is playing top 5 quarterback in the league right now. He's third in EPA since week 9. The Jaguars are on a 5-game winning streak. They've won 6 of 8 on their final 8 games of the season. He's only trailing Mahomes and Goff in that span. So you're talking about a really good offense. I don't want to say unique because I feel like it's an overused word, but they're a little bit different in terms of how they attack you offensively, just because they have so many options. You have 3 players on their roster with at least 70 receptions. That's Zay Jones, Christian Kirk, and Evan Ingram. And then you have 4 players with 80-plus targets. Those 3, and Marvin Jones also has 80 targets. And so it's very diverse passing game. It's going to come down to winning one-on-one matchups because that's how they work. They function offensively. They're going to find the one-on-one matchup and attack that because they feel comfortable throwing to all 4 of these guys. Not a particularly good running team. It's really a diverse passing attack. They incorporate a lot of RPO. They get the ball out of Trevor Lawrence's hands very quickly using RPO and quick game. His time to throw is 3rd lowest in the league, and only Burrow and Brady have been getting the ball out faster. As far as I understand, he will play in this game. He's been questionable with a toe every single week since week 14. And they don't really run the ball a lot on early downs either. So the key is going to be defending this passing offense and winning one-on-one matchups. And I'll get a lot more into it in my preview tomorrow. Defensively, the Jaguars are number 1 in EPA per play since week 14 during this 5-game winning streak. Super opportunistic defense. They make a lot of splash plays, a lot of turnovers, sacks, tackles for loss, run stuffs, pass breakups, all those types of things. They lead the league in that area since week 14. And I think we've seen that in the last 2 weeks with some big plays defensively to win games, get themselves in the playoffs. So it's a big part of this is going to be protecting the football for the Chargers. No interceptions, no fumbles, because this is a very opportunistic defense, both against the run and the pass. And then special teams wise, Agnew's a really good returner. The Chargers are going to limit return yards. They've done it all season with the way that J.K. Scott punts the football. A lot of hang time. They give up the fewest return yards per punt return in the league, the Chargers do. And then on kickoffs, they usually just blast it out of the end zone. And so they have been good at mitigating returners, but we'll see if they'll be able to do that in this game. So that's my initial takeaways. I'll have a lot more tomorrow morning. Let's get into your questions here because I do have to finish writing. So we'll probably go maybe 30 minutes. So I want to get to all these topics that I'm sure you guys are itching to get answers about. So Charles, you've asked 700 times. I don't know what uniforms the Chargers are wearing. They will announce it on Saturday morning. I don't know if that's out anywhere, but I didn't get a look in the locker room. Usually they have it up on the board, but let's go. Questions. What do we got? Wearing all white? Certainly possible. I don't know if is that confirmed? I'm not sure. I'm not a big uniform guy, so I'm more worried about what's going to happen on the field. We have a correction here from C-Dog. He said that Spellbinder is from Wren House Brewing in Arizona, not Shop Brewing. So officially correcting that for C-Dog. All right, let's get to these questions. What do we got? Any chance we see Joe Reed? I hadn't really thought about that. let me think about the numbers on this. So 5 receivers on the active roster currently. Mike Williams, Josh Palmer, Keenan Allen, DeAndre Carter, Michael Bandy. Do they elevate a wide receiver if Williams doesn't trend the way that they want him to? Even if he does, he's going to be a game time decision. I can see that happening, but likely Jason Moore. He's on the practice squad. That's the guy they have called up in the past, so I would be surprised if they go with Joe Reed, but I would probably expect a Jason Moore activation. That's probably where I would go in terms of that prediction. White on yellow. Everyone's saying white on yellow. So there you go, Charles. You have your answer. What else we got here? Okay, so let's talk about Mike Williams. Obviously, Mike Williams suffers a back injury in the second quarter of that Broncos game on Sunday. It's a back contusion. He got hit in the back after catching a smoke route on the outside. You can go rewatch the play. He got hit right in the back. I saw him leaving the stadium, or not leaving the stadium. I saw him leaving the locker room and walking to the team bus, and he could not walk on his own. He had his arm draped around an athletic trainer. It did not look good in that scenario. And then, obviously, he did not practice at all this week, Tuesday, Wednesday, or today. Brandon Staley said today they wanted to give him as much time as he could to get treatment, to rest. Practice reps aren't absolutely essential at this point of the season. So we will see. Knowing Mike Williams and knowing how tough of a player he is, I think he's going to give it a shot. The bigger question to me is, how effective will he be, and can he make it through the whole game? We have seen Mike Williams play through a lot of injuries in his career, whether that was in 2019, when he was pretty much played the entire season with a bone bruise in his knee, whether that was 2020 when he sprained his AC joint in training camp and he ended up coming back for week 1. He only missed 1 or 2 games that season. He was battling an injury in that Raiders game and could barely stand up by the end of the game and was still able to make plays late in that game. So I'm not going to doubt Mike Williams giving it a go, but can he stay on the field? He had that high ankle sprain. He came back in the Chiefs game, landed after a toe tap catch on the sideline, left the game after 6 snaps. Is it going to be a similar scenario in this game? With the way Mike Williams plays, he puts his body on the line and he lands hard a lot of the time. We've all seen it. I mean, it happened in that Broncos game where he dove for a deep ball and landed hard. It's just how he plays. It's his play style. I think it's a reason why he does have a lot of these injuries. It's just how much he puts his body on the line in some of these jump ball situations, balls down the field, jumping, leaping, diving, those types of things. What happens if Mike Williams dives for a pass, lands on his back in the spot that he has the contusion in? Can he play through it? How effective can he be? Those are the questions that I'm really asking. Now, would it surprise me if he's inactive? No. But knowing Mike Williams and knowing the type of pain that he's played through in his career before, I wouldn't be surprised if he's starting the game. The question is, how effective can he be, and will he be able to finish the game? The Chargers are a completely different offense without Mike Williams, and I'll have more on that in my preview tomorrow. But just looking at the numbers, like when they don't have Mike Williams on the field, they are very, very, very different. And you don't need to be a football genius to understand what a big part of this offense he is. And it's not just his production. It's how defenses have to defend the Chargers when they have both Keenan Allen and Mike Williams in the field. When both those guys are on the same side and you have Keenan in the slot and Mike on the outside, you kind of have to make a decision. Which one are you going to double? And the other one is going to win one-on-ones. And that's really what this offense is built around. Without one of those guys in the field, all the attention can be paid to Keenan Allen. In this case, Mike Williams, the attention will be paid to Keenan Allen. So it's a big deal. It's a big deal. And so it's a 2-part conversation. It's, will he play? And then if he does play, how effective can he be? And how much can he actually be on the field? And can he finish the game? Cellular versus Travon Walker matchup. Interesting because they went to college together. I talked to Jamari about it in the locker room this week. I'll have more in my preview. Jamari's been playing really well over these last, I'd say, 3 or 4 weeks. There was a period there in sort of the middle part of the season where he was giving up some pressure and some of his weaknesses in terms of his movement skills were getting exposed a little bit. But I feel like he's really responded over these last 3 to 4 weeks in pass protection, and he's just solid. He's a reliable, solid player out there. Like, I don't think he's an elite tackle, but you trust him over there. He will give up some pressure. That's just natural. He's a rookie. It's understandable. He's a 6th-round pick for a reason, but he's a functional player at left tackle. And honestly, that's such a huge win for this team to have him come in and replace Rashawn Slater and actually be a functional player out there. So that's going to be a really fascinating matchup. I'll have more on that in my preview tomorrow morning with Jamari sort of going into some of the specifics about, how Travon Walker has changed since college, how he's seen him change over the course of the season, because Jamari said that he went back and watched the week 3 tape. Obviously, he wasn't in that game because that was the game Rashawn Slater got hurt. Jamari's first start was the following week. But I'll have a lot more on that in terms of, where Jamari has seen Travon Walker really improve some of their battles in college. And then Jamari said that in recent weeks, they have been moving the 2 edge rushers around, Josh Allen and Travon Walker. So he's going to see both of them, and he's preparing for both of them. What would I pinpoint as the X factor of this game? The Chargers win if? It's a good question. I like to think about X factor offense, X factor defense. But if I had to pin it on one, they have to run the football. They have to find a way to be effective running the football early in the game, because if they can't do that, these edge rushers are legit. And you also have to throw Arden Key in there as well as sort of their third rotational guy. If those edge rushers can pin their ears back and get off the football, and they don't have to respect the run, which has been an issue at times for the Chargers this season when pass protecting, that's going to be a big problem. And so I think early in the game, they have to be able to run the ball effectively. That's going to be the big, big key for me. If I had to pinpoint like one X factor. First half defense against Denver was bad. Yes, it was. It was bad the whole game. Is that by design, or did the defense come back to earth a bit? I think there's a combination of things. Like, they definitely pared things down for the game and not put too much on tape. I don't think that they played with the type of energy that they had played in the previous 4 weeks. Ultimately it was a meaningless game, and that was not lost on the players. They were watching the game in the locker room, the Bengals-Ravens game in the locker room before they took the field. So everyone was aware of the situation, and that had a factor in how they played, I think, defensively. Just didn't see the same type of energy, didn't see the same type of focus that they'd had in those previous 4 weeks when they were playing as well as any unit in the league. So I think it's a combination. Mike Williams or Corey Linsley more important to this offense? That's a really tough question, but I would go with Corey Linsley. Xander Horvath is off the injury report, so we'll see if he sees some time. Definitely a factor there in the running game. He hadn't been playing a ton of snaps recently. He'll definitely see time on special teams, though, because he was a core guy when he wasn't injured. Horvath was dealing with an ankle injury and missed 2 games. Will Jasir Taylor still play on early downs now that teams are starting to attack him on first down? We'll see. It's a good question. I still think that Jasir Taylor is a better tackler and run defender than Asante Samuel Jr. is. Like, that's really the one weakness of Asante's game is how he defends on the perimeter against the run. And, Jasir Taylor is a rookie, 6th-round rookie, and he's going to have some down moments. But I still think you go with the plus run defender in your base package and then bring Asante on in your nickel and sub packages. I still think we're going to see that because I think even though Jasir Taylor had a rough game against the Broncos, I think he's still the best option there in base packages. And I kind of like having a bigger body and a better tackler out there, especially with the way the run defense has played this season. Is there Mike Williams with an injection? Yeah, I'm sure he will take some sort of pain medication to alleviate the pain. That's an option for him. Bryce Callahan 100%? No, Bryce Callahan is not 100%. That's why he was held out of this game. He's dealing with a core muscle injury that's not going to heal fully until the offseason. So he's playing through it. Credit to him for doing that. But no, he is not 100%, and that's why he was inactive for that Broncos game. Looks like the defense might be having their team dinner right now. I actually asked about that today. I did not know if they were officially having the dinner, but this would be the night they would do it because they're flying out tomorrow. Have I seen Mike Williams walking around? I have not seen Mike Williams since he left the locker room in Denver. Not in the locker room, not in the practice field, which is the only places I get to go. Is Joey going to have his snaps limited? I don't think so. I think we're going to see the most snaps Joey's played since he came back. They pulled him early in that Broncos game. He only played 23 snaps, played 24 snaps the week before. I think we're going to see a pretty significant increase in Joey's snaps, considering the magnitude of this game. Why are they leaving so late? The Chargers always leave the day before the game. They fly on Saturdays for Sunday games. They fly on Sunday for Monday games. They fly, in this case, on Friday for a Saturday game. It's how they've always done it since Staley took the job. Do I feel like the Denver loss took the wind out of the team's sails, or are they mentally prepared for this? I mean, maybe a little bit. My interpretation of it is, if anything took the wind out of the sails, it was Mike Williams' injury, not necessarily losing. I mean, players hate losing, but to lose that game when all you were trying to do was maintain momentum, and then you lose your third or fourth most important offensive player, like that's just a gut punch and then another gut punch, on top of it. So, but I fully expect this team to come out playing hard and playing the type of football that we saw, particularly on defense in that 4-game winning streak. Like, that's what I'm anticipating. They need to pressure Trevor as much as possible. Ideally, yes, but that has been very difficult. I mean, he's been one of the Jaguars and Trevor Lawrence have the 8th lowest pressure rate allowed in the league this season. And a lot of that is scheme, RPOs, getting the ball out quickly, time to throw is very low. Some of that too is that they have some good players on that offensive line between Scherf, between Luke Fortner, Juwan Taylor at right tackle. And so that combination makes it pretty difficult to pressure him. But that's always going to be a key in the game, is pressuring. How do you make that happen? It's very difficult when a quarterback's getting the ball out of his hands as quickly as he is. So that's definitely a challenge. How do you make that happen? Yeah, the left tackle is a backup, Walker Little. Cam Robinson is on IR, so potential weak spot there. So reaction to inside the building to Staley playing the starter so late. I mean, I think organizationally they were aligned on what they wanted to do in that game, and I don't think Brandon Staley explained it after the game as well as he could have. I think talking about the roster sizes was a mistake because the real motivation was, maintaining momentum. That and whatever word you want to use, rhythm, momentum, keeping it on the tracks. You're on a 4-game winning streak. You want to finish the season strong. You want to finish on a 5-game winning streak. And there are a lot of instances in history of both instances of teams resting guys and then coming out flat in their first playoff game. The Rams in 2017 is a really good example. And there's examples of teams playing their guys in that final game that's meaningless and it having an impact. You go to the 2007 Giants, played the Patriots in week 17 in a meaningless game. The Giants had nothing to gain. The Patriots were 16-0 and playing for an undefeated regular season and full season. The Giants played their starters in that game. Tom Coughlin played his starters in that game. The Giants played the Patriots close. That game was 38-35. And the Giants went on to win the Super Bowl and beat the Patriots in the Super Bowl. And if you were to ask Tom Coughlin right now how much of an impact that final meaningless game had on his team's playoff run, he would tell you it was monumental. And so that thought process, I can understand it. I disagree with it, but I can understand it, right? And so if that was the explanation after the game, and I gave Brandon Staley an opportunity to explain it that way, when I asked him, why was it important for you to play your players that late? If he had explained it that way, I can understand it. And that ultimately was the motivation. So I guess the explanation doesn't necessarily matter. I can understand that thought process personally, and knowing what I know about the Chargers and knowing what I know about these players and how many injuries they've had this year and how injury prone some of these players are, I would have played it safe and I would have sat everybody and started JT Woods and Dean Leonard and Raheem Lane. And if a situation popped up where I had to play my starters because of the roster sizes, I would have done that. But I would have gone into this game with my full stable of players because I think that would give me the best chance to win. Now, hindsight is 2020, right? There's a possibility that Brandon Staley sits all of his starters. They go into Jacksonville and they're completely flat and they lose the game. And then what happens? Well, everyone crushes him for sitting the players. So I can understand it. But personally, I just think that you have to do a risk reward analysis, and the risk of losing an important player is very, very high, and the reward of maintaining rhythm, momentum, whatever you want to call it, to me is lower than the level of that risk, and that's where I fall. But I'm not a head coach in the NFL. I'm not making these decisions, and in Brandon Staley's eyes, that rhythm, momentum factor outweighed the risk factor. And that's really what happened there. But I like talking about roster sizes to me made no sense logically. And I didn't think it was fair to the fan base to offer that explanation because it wasn't the real reason and logically did not make much sense. So that's where I'm at with it. I don't know if you guys agree. So why do they only suit up 4 receivers? So they had been only suiting up 4 receivers because they'd been going with a fourth tight end in Stone Smart, who can do some of those receiver things. 90 minutes before kickoff is when they had to put their inactives in. They had to send the league their inactives 90 minutes before kickoff. There's no leeway with that. And so they had to make a decision there. And at that point, there was still I know the Ravens were losing, but there was still a possibility that they would have to win this game to clinch the 5th seed. And so when you're making those decisions with the inactives, you are making it with the possibility in mind that you could have to win this game. So I kind of understand them only suiting up 4 receivers. They've done it in the past. It's what they've done. My issue is when you get to the 4th quarter and you've already clinched the 5th seed, why do you have to go into 11 personnel and play Keenan Allen? Like, just go to 12 personnel on every play, take Keenan out of the game, only play with 2 receivers. And if you punt and gain 0 yards, it doesn't matter. At that point, it doesn't matter. I would have pulled Keenan out of the game much earlier than that. So I don't really have an issue with the 4 receivers thing. I know it's been a big talking point among you guys. They had to make that decision 90 minutes before kickoff. But once you get into the game, you can manage it differently. And so if you get to the 4th quarter, get Keenan Allen out of the game. I mean, he missed, 8 games with a hamstring injury? Get him out of there. Play Stone Smart at receiver. If he's not, in tune with the game plan and the playbook enough to do that, then play 2 tight ends and go with 12 personnel or 13 personnel on every play and play personnel groupings where you only need to have 2 receivers out there, because playing to win at that point was meaningless. Yeah. Yeah. So Charlie says, wide receiver screen that Mike got hurt on feels questionable. Why make him a ball carrier instead of catch and go down? Yeah, all of those things, But if you're putting the players out there, there's a possibility that they're going to get injured. That's an inherent risk of playing football. And so once you make the decision that you're playing your starters, you have to be prepared that this is going to happen. And then you also have to be prepared that when that does happen, there's going to be a lot of questions about it. And I think Brandon Staley has done a very good job of explaining his processes ever since he got the job. And I just didn't think that he met the mark in that area in terms of explaining his thought process on this. And that's just kind of where I'm at with it. Yeah. Taylor says, let's focus on the Jags. I agree. All right. We'll do Matt, first time here. Welcome to the program, Matt. We're happy to have you. While you're here, click the link below and subscribe to The Athletic. Please. I'm begging you. Please. Jorge, don't tell Matt to leave. Listen, we're about the positive vibes here. Matt, you are very welcome here. We appreciate you joining. Nas evaluation. I like that question because I was thinking about this the other day. Now, let me ask you a follow-up, Pacific Beats. Do you want an evaluation of how he's played or what it might mean for the future, or both? Waterfront or Venice Ale House? I'm a Venice Ale House guy. Waterfront does not have hard alcohol. Both? Both? Yeah, both. Why not? Dumb question. Really dumb question. I'm sorry. I should ban myself for that question. So I think Nas has had really good moments, and I think he's had some down moments. I think we all know what Nas Adderley's weaknesses are as a player. He can get over aggressive, and he can overrun plays, and he takes bad angles sometimes. But I think we've seen his ball skills improve this year. I think overall we've seen him play more connected in coverage. That same aggressiveness that sometimes gets him out of position is also what makes him a good blitzer and a very physical player and fast player and energized player. And I like those things about his game. In terms of moving forward, I think the Chargers drafted JT Woods ideally to be a potential contingency plan if they did want to move on from Nas Adderley. But that has not materialized. So if they do move on from Nas Adderley, they're going to have to find at least some competition there at safety. Now, the question is, could Alohi Gilman move into that role as the second safety next to Derwin James? And then you have Raheem Lane, who's played really well on special teams and was excellent in training camp. And we've seen him play some snaps on defense. And I know the Chargers really love how he's developing. Can he sort of be that sixth defensive back in dime packages? Now, in that case, you're moving Derwin around. You're playing Raheem Lane and Alohi Gilman as the deep field safeties and dime packages. That gives me a little bit of pause because I think Alohi Gilman has improved a lot, but I don't think his strength as a player is playing in the deep part of the field. Nas is good in the deep part of the field. That's what he does well as a player. He's very good at tracking balls. He does have really good ball skills. He's a good quarterback back there. He's a good communicator. I trust Nas playing in the deep part of the field more than I trust Alohi Gilman playing in the deep part of the field. So a lot of moving parts there. I think with the way Alohi Gilman has come on as of late, especially filling in for Derwin, I think it gives you a little more confidence and does give you a potential contingency plan there. And then you also have to factor in, I don't get to watch JT Woods in practice every day like I do in training camp during the season. So I can't really tell you how much he's improved. All I can point out is some of the plays he's made on tape in games, and he has not looked very good in those areas. And they've also moved him out to corner recently in practice during individual drills. And in that game against the Rams late where he played 2 snaps at corner, which should give you an indication of, okay, they're trying to move him around and find out where they can best use his skill set. So they have pieces there. The question is, if you let Nasir Adderley walk, how confident are you in that dime package, that personnel grouping where when you do move Derwin around, you have to bring in Raheem Lane or JT Woods as that second safety next to Alohi Gilman? And that's sort of where it's at. That's going to be the conversation this offseason. Is Zion a bust? No, Zion is not a bust. What's the rule? Does anyone know the rule? Can anyone, what's the rule? We have a rule around here. Yes. Taylor B has the rule. Pacific Beats has the rule. David Nagy has the rule. Isaac Rodriguez has the rule. Juan Ruiz has the rule. Dan Glenn has the rule. Incognito has the rule. Patman 494 has the rule. Scene Kid Santa has the rule. It's the rule. The rule is rookies cannot be busts. Not possible. You could be the worst player in the NFL as a rookie. You are not yet a bust. Because guess what? You have either 2 or 3 years, maybe 4 years remaining on your contract. And young players improve. What you want out of a young player is you want to see moments. You want to see moments that leads you to believe they have the capacity to play in the NFL. Zion Johnson has proven that over and over again. Go watch his tape against Chris Jones. Go watch his tape against DeForest Buckner. Go watch his tape against Jeffrey Simmons. Elite inside players. Zion Johnson was able to block them in pass protection and block them in the running game. Now, is he doing it consistently against those types of players? Not yet, but he has proven the capacity to play against elite players, okay? What you're looking for is that, and then what you're looking for is the desire to be great. Do you love football? Do you want to maximize your potential? And I can guarantee you from everyone I've talked to in this building, in the locker room, that he has that desire, that he has the intelligence and he has the work ethic to be great. And so I am very, very, very confident with his skill set, with his work ethic, with what I've seen on tape, that Zion Johnson is going to be a very good player, if not elite player in this league. Boom. What's the rule? Ban is the rule. Patience is a virtue. Taylor B. Just wisdom from Taylor B in this chat. You know how all the Twitch streamers are like, chat, what's up, chat? Should I start calling you guys chat? What's up, chat? Chad. Chad. I'm going to call you guys Chad. What's up, Chad? What's up, Chads? All right. One more question because I have to finish writing. Thoughts on Josh Kelly? My thoughts on Josh Kelly, I wrote about him in my notebook last week, so go read that. Have I scouted a taco spot in Jacksonville? Of course, but now I forget the name of it. Oh, yes. Okay. The taco spot in Jacksonville is called the Flying Iguana. It's in Atlantic Beach. Get the skirt steak taco with pistachios on top. Whew. And then there's this other place. It's like Taco Leo. No, that's an LA spot. What the frick's this place? I can't remember. All right, one more football question. Eddie G says, looks like he ate vegan tacos. I have eaten vegan tacos. What's wrong with a vegan taco? I love all tacos. Gotta treat all tacos with respect. Gracias Madre in West Hollywood. Great vegan Mexican food. Okay. My sister is lactose intolerant, so she can't eat Mexican food. And so we go to this place, Gracias Madre, when she's in town. Fantastic. They do like a jackfruit, like pulled pork taco. It's fantastic. Oh, bold prediction. I don't know if I have a bold prediction. But I will say I did my bold predictions midway through the season, and I hit on 4 of them. I said Eckler would lead the league in touchdowns. I said the Chargers would make the playoffs. I said Derwin James would start forcing turnovers, which wasn't like, not a bold prediction. And then I said that Joey Bosa would make an impact in the regular season, which I'm going to give myself that. So maybe 3.5. Chargers making the playoffs was bold at that point. It was bold. It was. That was my boldest. None of those are bold. Okay. I mean, maybe they weren't bold predictions, Kim. God. Haters. All right. I think we're pretty much out of questions here. I don't really, I see a lot of, off-season stuff. We'll have plenty of time to talk about off-season. Marriage leads to divorce. Football leads to injury. Brilliant stuff there. Got bots in the Chad now. Chad, ban the bots. Trevor Lawrence as good as Herbert? I don't think so. Not yet. All right. I've gone 15 minutes longer than I said I was going to. The hops are done. Pop is done. Saturday night, 5:15 Pacific. Chargers at Jaguars in Jacksonville. I will be there providing you coverage on The Athletic. If you don't subscribe, click the link below. I wrote a feature about Justin Herbert. Chad, make sure you tell everybody, the people that have read it, Chad, let them know how you feel about the story. Click on it. Subscribe. Tomorrow morning, it's like Christmas morning. You're going to have first thing the deepest dive preview into this matchup that exists on the internet. So you get a 2-for-1. Click below, read the Herbert story tonight, go to sleep, wake up, preview, waiting for you on The Athletic. How about that? All right, guys. I will talk to you. I don't know when. It's going to be a bit of a whirlwind. So it's going to depend on if they win, if they lose. If they win, we will do a Hops with Pop Sunday or Monday. I will decide on that. If they lose, we'll have Baggy Day Sunday. I'll be writing. So we will probably do a end of season kind of like, we'll have like a whole, we'll do like an hour and a half together to wrap up the season at some point. But so that's sort of where we are. And I will talk to you guys then. Chad, appreciate all of you. And we'll talk soon, all right? Peace out.